Well, hello there. How are you today? This is Resilient Lives checking in on you, doing a well being check. It is probably the beginning of some of your weekends. Sometimes some of us start our weekends a little early, but it's Thursday and we're getting ready to kind of slow our roll. The week has been full. So, how are you? How are you doing? Just wanting to check in, make sure everything is good. Everything is good here. Everybody's doing well, working in their own spaces, upstairs, downstairs, this level. Everybody is doing what we do to make it through the day. But I just want to beam out a little love and a little encouragement, because when Thursday comes, that means that Friday is just not too far behind. Then we get a chance to do something a different pace. But today I just want to finish up on a book we started way back when. It's the book that is entitled, Are You Fully Charged? We did part of it, and then we kind of jumped around to Earth Day and a lot of other things. And so I'd like to finish it up. And so here we are. We're talking about the three pillars or the three keys to energizing our work and life. And you might say, well, why is that even important in this pandemic? Well, we're not going to be working from home forever. And some places are starting to ease those restrictions. We're going to be going out and hopefully we'll go out changed. We'll go out a stronger person. And when I think about this energizing ourselves and our work and our life, I think of this little energizer bunny. Now, I don't know if all of you are familiar, but years ago, for the Energizer battery, there was this little pink bunny beating a drum on TV, just never stopped going, and it was called the Energizer Bunny. And so when I think of energizing ourselves, or more so energizing our work and our life, I think of this constant going, energizing of this bunny. How do we do that? And why is that important is probably a better question. I know the last time we talked about it, some people were saying, well, before I want to do anything for anybody, I want to put the mask on myself. I want to energize myself. I want to take care of me. And there is in this culture, what is in it for me? Why do I want to do this? What have you done for me lately? But it's intriguing to know that in energizing others, charges us. But of course, first we're going to want to make sure that we're fully energized. We want to put our mask on. And I'm getting that term from being on the airplane when they're giving you all those steps about when the masks fall, put the mask on yourself first before you put it on your child. So that is where we're talking about putting the mask on ourselves first. But then after we have the mask on ourselves, we are then in a position to start looking at how we can do and energize our work and others. And so you might want to say, well, what's so important? Well, those three pillars were meaning, interaction, and energy. And of course, we want to live a meaningful life. I'd like to think that I will leave some intellectual legacy when I'm gone. But we never know, and we are actually not always doing it for ourselves. There have been cases or times when something that I've done, I didn't really know that anybody was even paying attention. I didn't really do it for them. I did it because it was something I felt. But sometimes we do things and it's being observed or something, and we're doing it. It's not like in the Bible it talks about the way the Pharisees did things. They want it to be seen. Do you see me? I'm doing all this goodness. Give me a pat on the back or something. But when we are living a meaningful life, and in this book that Tom Rath is talking about, and he's talking about meaning, he's talking about doing living or making meaning so others will benefit. And I can think back on a couple of examples. I remember when I was in undergraduate school, I had 3 young kids. I had gone back to school, so I'm a freshman pretty much with all my credits. But I'm a freshman. I have 3 kids, and I'm in this group dynamics class. Now that's an interesting class. And this young guy came in, and he didn't know how the class had started, and he felt that he had to give his whole life story. And I didn't say anything because I didn't feel urged to do that. And so later, the professor invited me into his office, and he said, "How come you didn't speak up?" And I said, "Look, this is, in my mind, it was their class. They were the young people just out of high school. I'm a mother. I got 3 kids. Let them have this class and let me be done with it and get my grade." But he said, "Had you considered that there would be someone in this class that might need to hear what you have to say, might be unable to speak that, and needed you to share that?" And that also reminds me of a book. It's probably more pastoral model, but it talks about shared wisdom. Everyone has a piece of the wisdom. And so it's necessary for us each to contribute our piece of the wisdom, and not withhold it, withhold our piece of the evidence in order to make it whole. And then there was a time when I took a swim lesson. I needed to learn how to swim, but I was afraid to swim. But so I took this lesson, and I got there, and it was this teenager, high school teenager, and I thought, oh, great. And I said, "Well, what's the oldest person you've taught?" And she said, 9. And I thought, oh, great. Well, when I freak out as a 9-year-old, you'll understand. But what was so interesting about that is I was taking the class because I needed to learn how to swim. I didn't know that her father had just died, and she was having a hard time. And so I would say things, and she would share things with me while she was teaching, and I would comment on them. But this was years ago, and it was interesting to receive an email from this young girl saying, "I inspired her." I thought I was there to swim, but my point is we never know when we are making a meaningful connection. You're not always going to receive that thank you, or that you're not going to always know what impact that you're having, but we do want to try and to do that. So let's just look at this, at these strengths just briefly, because it's important for us to to do something that's going to contribute to life. It's important for us to contribute. I have lupus, and at first I didn't want to share it with anyone. It was like, I don't want to appear to be sickly. Lupus is one of those diseases that people don't know. You don't look sick. And I did not want to share my story. But after a while, someone, my doctor asked me to be on the board of this lupus society. and I was on the board. And then somebody heard my story and they said, well, they just wanted me to talk to them because they felt that if I could share that with them and I was managing it, then they could manage it. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's necessary to take your strengths, because where your strengths lie, they might meet someone else's needs. And where those two intersect, that's going to be the joy that you receive when you help people. So I'm suggesting that you would look at whatever activities that help you to feel a little rushed, things that you're interested in, and think about sharing that with the community, because your story, your life, or what you're doing can have a long-standing impact on someone else's life. And I know you have a lot to offer because you're listening to this and you're taking the time. So be encouraged. I'm sending my love, and let the little energizer bunny in you work its magic. Have a good day.